Enjoy this new batch of holiday hits with trailers premiering all week long. And remember, it's never too early to catch the holiday spirit.
It's that time of the year, Christmas time, where I release a video on Christmas Eve, even though that is not a good idea because people are busy on Christmas and Christmas Eve, so this video will probably not do well, especially now since I'm talking about something that I don't even normally talk about, but I don't care, it's a tradition, so let's keep on going with it. I love watching Christmas movies, obviously, but I do have a blind spot when it comes to the Hallmark side of Christmas movies because I didn't really grow up watching them. I think my family had the Hallmark channel, I don't actually know. I just didn't really have that much interest in watching them. And even now, I still don't entirely do, especially since I've seen a lot of jokes online about people making fun of the tropes and the various repeating storylines that they do. And even Family Guy did a whole special on Disney Plus where they just make fun of these types of movies. But something that I do think is a little bit interesting about Hallmark is how they promote the fact that they have so many Christmas movies. They have Christmas movies for days that it's something that they're actively kind of proud of, even though it seems like the quality of them doesn't seem to be good at all. From what I hear, again, I can't really say for myself because I haven't seen any of them, but that's just the vibe that I get from what I've heard online. And then I realized Netflix is kind of doing the same thing too. They also promote the fact that they have a ton of Christmas movies for days. You got things like The Princess Switch, The Christmas Chronicles, Hot Frosty. I've seen all of those on the main page on Netflix, and realistically, the only Christmas movie from them that I've seen is Klaus, which is a modern animated Christmas classic, but is very different from those other films. And I don't know what the varying quality behind a lot of those are. I think I've heard people say the Princess Switch movies are bad. I didn't really feel the want to watch those other Christmas movies. That was until Netflix released a commercial or an advertisement online. In October, you know, Christmas comes earlier and earlier. I kind of find that annoying, even though I love Christmas. But they released an advertisement. They released a video where they said, hey, we're gonna spend a whole week in October to promote the upcoming Christmas movies that are coming to Netflix this November and December. They spent like a whole week talking about 4 movies. A new trailer came out every day that week. We had a trailer for A Merry Little Xmas, Champagne Problems, Jingle Bell Heist, and My Secret Santa. Because like that's just how the Netflix machine works now. It's just something that you notice that they make a lot of things, and for a while now, a lot of the stuff is not that good, but they seem to be happy about it. They're proud of it. I watched every one of those trailers, and again, none of them look good, but I was like, you know what? I think I actually kind of want to see those, just out of curiosity. And then I realized I could make that a video, so yeah, that's the thought process behind this video. Let's go ahead and kick off Christmas with a whatever this is gonna be. So let's get started. First up, we got A Merry Little Xmas, directed by Stephen Carr and written by Holly Hester, and it stars Alicia Silverstone of Clueless fame, and also in Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. And in this story, a couple is going through a divorce. So the movie starts off with this like animated sequence about like this like couple, how they fell in love and how she was like this big time business person who wanted to get into architecture, but then she went into a town called Winterlight, I guess, and she fell in love with the doctor there, and they ended up getting married, having a family, and living their life there, but things happen, you know, they had some complicated marriage issues, and then they broke up, and now they're trying to go through a divorce. And what I think is interesting about this is that it's the way she describes it. It sounds like a lot of the plots that I've heard people make fun of when it comes to Hallmark movies. Like this big time business person who doesn't have time for romance goes into a small town with a weird name and then falls in love with a local there, and then she realizes the true meaning of Christmas. She shouldn't worry about all that big business stuff and should find love and stuff like that. And in this one, it's like she lives that exact life, and then she's like kind of sad about it. She missed out on having lived all the dreams that she wanted to, and then ended up just becoming like part of this town, and kind of resents it a little bit. And I kind of thought in my head for a brief moment that what if this is going to be a critique on those kinds of stories, like something like a Kevin can F himself type of thing. Take something that people have complained about for a while now, actually looking at it from a realistic point of view, seeing like how it actually would affect these people, And then I realized, what the hell am I talking about? This is a Netflix original Christmas movie. It doesn't do that. I'll just say this, Marriage Story, this is not. The main couple themselves, like, yeah, they have arguments, and the complaints from the wife, Alicia Silverstone, seem very valid. Like, the fact that he spent so much time working and not really spending time with her or their family, and like, that she kind of had to abandon a lot of like her aspirations in order to stay here in Winterlight. Like, alright, that seems like a genuine thing to be sad about and like a genuine thing to want to get a divorce for. But his complaints are like, oh, she really cares about the environment and being a vegan, and because of that I didn't get to do stuff like have an indoor grill or buy the kids new clothes instead of pre-owned ones or something like that. And like, the movie definitely wants to like pin it as like, oh, both of them were in the wrong and they both had issues that they had to resolve. But it kind of seems like one person's issues are more valid than the others. Like, I don't know, it just kind of seems that way. Like, I'm kind of mostly on Alicia Silverstone's side. And also, from the trailer that I saw about this movie, I kind of thought it was gonna be like, oh, she wants to get back at her ex because like, oh, he has a new girlfriend who is Tahani from The Good Place. And so she's like, I'm gonna make him jealous. So she starts dating this younger guy, Chet, who is kind of the best part of the movie, which I'll get into a bit later. And then they're gonna end up falling in love. Ooh, but no, instead, what happens is the main couple that was getting divorced get back together. And I kind of don't like that. Like, I kind of thought I was gonna hate it. I kind of thought I was gonna be annoyed by the cliche line, like, oh, I gotta make my ex jealous, but then the two who are trying to make the other jealous end up falling in love. I thought I was gonna be annoyed by that, but I kind of wish we got that instead, because I think Chet was the better person than whatever the other guy's name was. I forgot what the husband's name was. Other things about the film that I don't particularly love. There was supposed to be a subplot about Alicia's character hating Winterlight, the town, because of what it took from her. And I'm like, all right, granted, that's those are legitimate feelings to be having. But her children are kind of like, what are you talking about? This town is great, which I guess makes sense because they grew up here. But however, they still kind of mostly pin Alicia's character to being in the wrong for having those feelings, because like the other characters are like, you can't leave us, your life is here, and like they don't really seem to care that much about her previous aspirations, not even her kids. And then like later on in the movie, there's like in the third act of the film, the whole town comes together and like, we're gonna miss you when you leave. You were a big part of this town. You helped us in so many ways, and seeing that she did make a contribution to the town. What I don't like about this is not even that idea for a story, it's more so that it's barely explored. So like, they say that, oh, she's had a big contribution to this town, but like, we don't really see that aside from talking to a few characters. But we don't really see her interacting with the other residents of Winterlight, just her main family, who I guess I can sort of understand being upset because like, hey, it's their house, they grew up here, they don't want her to sell it. But at the same time, it doesn't really seem like they care that much about what she actually wants. And I ended up feeling bad for Alicia because I'm like, the movie's trying to make you look like a bad person here, but like I don't know, I do think your feelings are valid right now, Alicia, okay? I do think your feelings are valid. I kind of wanted her to leave at that point. Everyone seemed like a heartless jerk. And like I said before, I think the main romance itself with the couple getting back together did not really work that well, because like, I don't really vibe with the movie saying they were both in the wrong. Like, clearly one was more in the right than the other. They're like not both in the wrong. And I never really bought the fact that they were slowly falling in love again. And there were some dumb moments here and there, like, oh, when they were sledding together, and it's like, oh, they're going too fast, but they were going at like a normal pace, but the movie was like, oh no, they're going too fast, oh, this is such a wacky scenario. And then it like, they end up falling, and then he like is a doctor, so he's trying to help her, but it ends up looking like they're doing it or something. I don't know, that was something. Some other dumb things too, like later on, Chet, the guy that Alicia's dating to make her ex jealous, they accidentally burn a tree at his house, and so what he does is he rips off his shirt and pants and starts trying to fan the flames out, like, oh no, get out of here. And it was so dumb. I think they needed to get that in the movie, guys, okay? It was necessary. It was important. As you can gather from this film, it doesn't really seem to be that good, and no, I don't particularly like it. I gave it like 2 stars on Letterboxd. And it's probably less than that. I probably just was a little fair. Alright, look, here's the thing. I think this movie is bad, but I did kind of enjoy it, and the only way I can describe it is like, imagine that like clip from the recent Smiling Friends episode with the safety inspector, where he says like, oh, you passed.
So my building is perfectly safe? Fuck no, it's the worst building I've seen in my entire life, and you failed miserably. But that skeleton in the wall was funny shit.
So yeah, that's essentially me, but the funny skeleton in this scenario is Chet and Nigel. Chet, the guy that Alicia dates to like make her ex jealous, is legitimately funny because like he's kind of stupid sometimes, but also like he's kind of charming and like he got a good laugh out of me. I said that scene where he takes off his shirt to like fan down the flames was dumb, and it is, but it got a big chuckle out of me and my sisters. We watched all these movies together, by the way, and so like that like legitimately got a good laugh. And then there's Nigel, the boyfriend of like Alicia's daughter. And he's very British, like cartoonishly British. He works at the Harry Potter Museum or whatever it was, I don't remember exactly. And like he's just very goofy, but he's also kind of charming. He's like a legitimately nice person. And like, I don't know, they got laughs out of me. And occasionally the movie will just do something dumb. Like I said, like I think that sledding scene was dumb from like how the movie was trying to say, oh, they were going so fast, but like the filmmaking did not portray that at all. And like there's some good performances here. Like I like Tahani in anything she's in. I should actually, what is her actress's name? I keep calling her Tahani because I just remember her from The Good Place. So yeah, this movie, not really good, but at the time when I watched this with my sisters, I mean, we got some good chuckles, we got some good laughs, we had a fun time just making fun of like certain things, and then later at the end, talking about how we disliked the way the movie portrayed Alicia's character as in the wrong. But hey, you know, so at least there's that. So Merry Little Xmas, not good. Next up, we got Champagne Problems, directed and written by Mark Steven Johnson. And after seeing A Merry Little Xmas, seeing that it wasn't bad, but it was kind of funny bad in some parts, I was like, alright, maybe this next one will also be funny bad. And honestly, not really. I mean, there were some parts that I kind of enjoyed, but overall, I found it mostly boring. We have another kind of cliched love story. This one I'm kind of more aware of because I've seen Bob's Burgers make fun of it, like in that one episode where Tina is like going boy crazy, which is a lot of episodes, but like it's like in like the place where they're having the auditions for the boy band and she runs into different boys and she runs into like Daveed Diggs' character and they sing a song about, oh, what if they're co-workers, and they end up having to go on a work trip, but then, oh, they slowly fall in love. That's a good song. I like that episode. That's one of my favorite Bob's Burgers episodes. But that storyline was going in my head when I was watching Champagne Problems because it's about this big businesswoman who is trying to get this big deal in France to get like this champagne company to sell their champagne company. I'm not good at talking, to her company. She doesn't own the company, she just works for it. But at the same time, she falls in love with this stranger in France who is actually the son of the guy who owns that champagne company. So now she's trying to get this deal while also slowly falling in love with him. Oh, ooh la la. There are these other people who are trying to buy the champagne company. One of them is played by Flula Borg, who is actually pretty fun in this. Like, I mean, he's funnier in other stuff, but here he was kind of enjoyable, and it's like Flula Borg. Who doesn't love Flula Borg? So something that I kind of dug about this movie is that it was kind of a hangout film in a way. Like the guy who owns the champagne company is all like, all right, you guys are gonna come to my home and then we're gonna do some different activities, and then that's how I'll decide who will get the champagne company. Go to like the parade, the holiday parade, they like have dinner together, they like do some wine, they do some champagne related activities, and they also just kind of talk and hang out with each other. And like when I saw that, I was just like, alright, I kind of like this. I like hangout films like Dazed and Confused and things like that, and so like I was like, yeah, I could vibe with this. And there were some moments with the characters that I kind of like there's this one character, Roberto, who is legitimately pretty funny, like some funny interactions, and overall like the performance itself was pretty funny. It does kind of lean towards the gay best friend stereotype, but like, I mean, I don't know, that's like, I still kind of enjoyed it. And also, Flula Borg, like I said, there's one scene that I kind of like, where he's talking about how his family watches Die Hard for Christmas, but because he's German, they're on the side of Hans Gruber, and I don't know, I recently rewatched Die Hard, so like, maybe that's why I thought it was like neat, because I was like, hey, I get what they're talking about. Although there is a part where Flula Borg makes a commercial about Krampus to the champagne company guy, and it's AI. They use like actual AI to make the commercial, and it's like super ugly, and I hate that it's in there. I hate that they put AI in this film. So that's definitely minus points for Champagne Problems. The movie itself, I also think, could get really boring. Like, yeah, sure, I dug the hangout vibes, but I think I mostly liked the hangout vibes when it came to like characters like Flula Borg's character or Roberto. Everyone else was just kind of boring. I didn't really care that much for the main romance. It kind of seemed like they didn't really interact that much. Like, it's kind of the vibe that I got. And it does go through the cliche things, like, oh, in the third act, they have a misunderstanding. Like, oh no, he hears something, but he wasn't there to hear the whole thing. So it's like he starts hating her, but then some other character has to be like, no, she's the one for you. Go after her. And so then he runs to her before she leaves, and then they reconnect. All that stuff. And everyone else, like the main champagne guy and like the other person who's trying to buy, like there's another woman who's trying to buy the company, like they're not that interesting, and they're supposed to have a romance too. And overall, I'd say like it just felt a little bit like a drag, even though the movie is not that long. But like, I don't know, I think there were just like an occasional moment that I liked, but it's just like not really funny about it. It was just more so boring. And also, like I said, the AI commercial, I hate that that's in here. I hate that they put AI in this movie, and it's like legitimately, it's just really bad. Like, imagine how much better that that joke could have landed if they got like legit animators to animate like some creepy Krampus commercial. It like look legitimately creepy and stuff. Like that honestly could have worked. But no, it's AI. It's I don't like that. Oh yeah, and also champagne problems. I don't like that either. It was a pretty bad movie. The third movie, Jingle Bell Heist, directed by, well, I don't know how to say this name right. Michael Fimognari? Fimognari? I think that's how you say it. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. And written by Abby McDonald. And when I did research for this film, and by research I mean briefly looking at the Wikipedia page, I saw that the screenplay for this film was actually in the Blacklist, which is a list of scripts that are actually really well liked, but have yet to be produced. And another movie that I know has been on that list is Jojo Rabbit. And I think, you know what, I guess it's cool in that sense that this movie was made. That someone was like, hey, you know, it's time to get that off that list and actually make this film. So, you know, that's at least cool. What's not cool is the actual movie, even though it kind of could have been. When I saw this trailer, I was just like, all right, this is something different than the other trailers that I saw. This is not like a romance. Well, I mean, it is a romance, but like it's like a movie that's like trying not to be like a very Hallmark-esque film or with a cliched story. No, it's a heist film. It's about these people trying to rob this like a store. I guess it was like a jewelry store, like a mall center. I don't know. And you know, they're gonna do a big heist. And it's gonna be holiday themed. And I'm like, all right, this is cool. Yeah, I like heist stories, and like I've seen a good number of heist movies. I was just like, all right, this could probably be fun. This could probably be good. But unfortunately, I just think that it feels very lackluster. The one that I was the most disappointed by. Keep in mind, again, I did not expect any of these movies to be good, but I was thinking maybe this one would be interesting and different. And I guess it was different, not interesting though. Anyway, this movie stars Olivia Holt, who you may remember from the hit Disney Channel show I Didn't Do It. Remember that one? It's the one where they didn't do that stuff. They always say that. They like tell a story. And say, I didn't do it, or something like that. I don't remember what that show was about. I haven't seen it in years. And she needs to make money to help pay for her mom's medical bills. There's this other guy who's British, who I forgot his name, but he has to make money to show his ex-wife that he could be a good father and that he can move out of his like friend's like man cave that they stay at together. But like he wants to prove that he can like, you know, leave like his previous life of crime and like you know, be a father for his daughter. But like he needs that money, so they decide to team up to like go ahead and rob money from Peter Serafinowicz's character, who's the owner of this big business, I think. We kind of only see one location, two locations, his office and this jewelry store place that also sells like dolls and things like that. Kind of leads to my biggest gripe about the film is that it's supposed to be a heist film, but like the space that they're heisting in is so small. Like we just see like two locations and it's like, oh, okay, they gotta crack a safe, they gotta like, you know, find a way to get in there, but they also like have to like you know, sneak in like this place that has like jewelry and stuff. And like later on, like there's other locations too, like oh, they go to like this big fancy party to like find the wife of Peter Serafinowicz's character. Also go to this place called Santa Fest where everyone's dressed as Santa and like they're like also there to like try to do something. I don't remember the exact thing, but the point but I do remember it didn't work, so that's why they go to the other place. I'm trying really hard to remember what happened in this film, but much like Champagne Problems, it is really boring, and I kind of forgot a lot of the stuff that happened in it. And yeah, it hasn't even been that long since I watched it. It was only like a few days ago. Like regardless, I think the space that they're heisting is just not that interesting visually. Like I was thinking like, oh, are they gonna heist the mall? Are we gonna see so many different locations of the mall and like there's gonna be a big chase scene throughout it? But no, we just see like two locations. One of them has a safe. And it's, you know, it's kind of high tech, I guess. And there's only two people in this heist. These characters themselves aren't that interesting. Also, I'm confused by Olivia Holt's character. She's supposed to be like She's speaking with an American accent, obviously, because she's American. But both her mom and her dad are British in this. So, like, why does she not have a British accent? That's kind of confusing. And this movie does have twists and turns, like, oh, okay, when they like try to find the wife, it turns out she knows what they're doing but wants in on the plan. And then Peter Serafinowicz' character turns out is actually the dad of Olivia Holt's character. What? That last one actually did kind of surprise me, I'll admit. I wasn't like, I mean, not to get interested or invested in the story, but it surprised me. Besides the initial shock of it, I don't think they really do anything interesting because it comes a little too late. It doesn't really shake up the group dynamic. I say group, it doesn't really shake up the duo dynamic because, like, it's like the guy looks shocked, but then goes like, alright, I'm still gonna continue helping you. In hindsight, I guess it's kind of fitting because he was also kind of screwed over by Peter Serafinowicz's character because he pinned him for a crime that he didn't do, and Peter Serafinowicz ruined Olivia Holt's life by leaving her and her mother, and like, you know, now her mother's sick and he's not doing anything to help her. So I can sort of see that like kind of kindling a bigger bond, but it comes way too late. So that connection that you can make with those two and how they feel about Peter Serafinowicz's character is barely explored, and I did not realize that until just now as I'm recording this video. No, literally, I just thought of that right now. So that's not in my notes at all that I have over here. I just thought like, oh yeah, so it's kind of like this, but I had to think about that. But like, oh man, that sounds like it could have been an interesting thing to explore, but it's not really explored. It comes way too late into the movie. Also, Peter Serafinowicz, I've talked about him. He's in this movie. He's not that interesting. Like, come on, this is Peter Serafinowicz. He's like an amazing actor, and he could be really funny sometimes too. So I'm like, I think they should have hammed him up more as a villain, or like, you know, like he should have done more than just look menacing, look angry. Like they say, like, oh, you don't want to mess with this guy, he'll ruin your life. But like, all we've heard is that what he's done to these characters. We don't actually see it. We don't see him ruin anyone's lives or like use his power for anything. He just like is like kind of annoyed a lot of times and like is mean to like his employees. That's kind of about it. It was the waste of a good actor, and that's what I'd call this movie overall too. I'd consider it a waste of like what could have been a genuinely good premise, and it's probably the one that I was the most this is probably my least favorite out of all of them, because like with the others I kind of wasn't expecting much, and this one, okay, yeah, true, I wasn't really expecting much either, but I was kind of hoping that maybe, hey, there could be something interesting because it's a heist movie. But no, it's like the most boring out of all these 4 movies. So yeah, Jingle Bell Heist, it sucked. My Secret Santa, directed by Mike Roll and written by Carl Small, and Ron Oliver. Champagne Problems and Jingle Bell Heist were holiday themed, like they took place around the holidays, but they didn't really feel that festive. What better way to finish than with a Santa movie? So let's go ahead and talk about My Secret Santa, which is now returning back to the funny bad that we saw with A Merry Little Xmas. Yes, finally, we're back to funny bad. This one follows a single mom who has a daughter who signed up for these snowboarding classes at this fancy resort without her knowledge, and now she's forced to like have to pay for those classes. Honestly, I feel like the mom should have been way more angrier than she was. She was like happy for her that she got into those classes because she's really good at snowboarding, but like, how could you do that behind your mother's back? But regardless, she wants to find a way to pay for those classes because she thinks she deserves them, and she finds out through her brother and his partner, who also like do like this high quality makeup stuff and like effects, and that the resort that the classes are being held in are actually giving 50% off to anyone who actually works there. So she wants to get a job there, but the only thing that they're hiring for is a Santa Claus, and she is not a man, so she can't be Santa. So naturally, she decides to pretend to be a man and dress up as Santa to get a job there. But at the same time, though, she starts to fall in love with the son of the guy who like owns like the resort. Just like Champagne Problems again. Man, some of these movies do repeat the same things. But she also has to pretend to be Santa, so she has to balance like, oh, working with him, but also like, oh, you know, trying to date him and stuff. Yeah, it's like She's the Man or Mulan, I guess. That's dumb scenarios. Like, just like she has to dress up as Santa to get into the world. That's already dumb. But she's like falling in love with the guy, and so like there's moments where like she has to pretend to be a man. Like she accidentally drops like a girly girly lip balm thing, and he goes like, wait a minute, but this has unicorn and sparkles on it. yeah, you're a man, why would you have this? Like, oh, that's just because, you know, why not? Like, it's like, because I guess it's weird for a guy to have that, I guess. Occasionally she'll like hear what's going on around the place, and then when she's dressed up as Santa, she goes up to those people and like tries to help them with their problems, and they go like, but how do you know that? We have never talked before. And her only response is, because I'm Santa. Like, do people genuinely think like that's the actual Santa? Like, I don't know. Like, they're just accepting of that. Like, I don't know, if some guy came up to me and like knew about my issues, even though I never met him before, and he goes like, it's because I'm Santa, I would not accept that. I would just go, sir, you are creeping me out, I'm calling the police. In the third act, they do the whole like, oh, she has to be in two places at once. She has to be herself and Santa, so she goes back and forth from doing that. Like, she'll leave to the bathroom to go change, and her brother's there helping her get into the costume. And there's one part where the main guy, the guy that she's falling in love with, goes into the bathroom. The guy, and like you can see like she's like, they're like trying to get her, the brother's trying to get her in the costume, but it just kind of looks like, oh, from the outside that they're boning in the bathroom. One of the girls from Twitches is in this as like the person that really doesn't want the resort owner's son to work there and is trying to actively sabotage. And my sisters and I, when learning about this plot, were like, what if the main guy who's like falling in love with the woman and is also hanging out with the Santa starts to like slowly think that he's like falling in love with Santa, like has like starts questioning his sexuality because of his interactions with Santa, because like that's the woman like he's like falling in love with, and she just happens to be dressing up as Santa at the same time. Like that one JFK episode in Clone High where like Joan of Arc pretends to be a guy to be part of the basketball team, and then he just starts slowly thinking, am I gay? I don't know why in most of these movies I have been like comparing them to cartoons. I didn't do that for Jingle Bell Heist, so that shows why Jingle Bell Heist is the weakest one out of the four, because it doesn't remind me of any cartoons. So something about this movie is that I kind of wish it was more ridiculous. I think they should have pushed it even farther. Like, yeah, like they have, like the guy has some interactions with Santa and goes like, you know, you're pretty easy to talk to. You remind me of someone. But I think they should have gone further and have him like think, am I sexually attracted to Santa Claus? Have a person have gay thoughts about Santa is what I'm saying. Have a man have gay thoughts about Santa. This movie was funny bad, but it's only pretty funny bad. I still think like A Merry Little Xmas is better structurally. That's not saying much because it's also bad, but this I also kind of thought like, hey, I was kind of vibing with it because it's back to funny bad, but that could be because Champagne Problems and Jingle Bell Heist were just pretty boring and not that interesting, that going back to something that was just kind of funny bad, but like a breath of fresh air, which is kind of sad to say. And in conclusion, that is all I have to say on these 4 Netflix Christmas movies. I was kind of looking forward to doing this video because it was something different than I hadn't done with the previous Christmas videos, and that I'm talking about something that I was just an area of movies that I wasn't that familiar with. And looking at these Netflix Christmas movies was kind of fun, watching them with my sisters, making fun of them, and then making fun of them here in this video. With that being said, I'm never going to watch these movies again. I don't particularly want to. I gave them all 2 out of 5s on Letterboxd, and realistically, they're probably less than that, but I'll never know because I will never feel like actually rewatching these again. Because, hey, I had a fun time with them-ish. I had a fun-ish time with them, but I think I'm ready to move on. Some part of me thought that if this video does well, I could probably make this like a series. Just look at a bunch of Netflix Christmas movies and like just do videos on those every now and then. And well, that's still something I could do. I'll put that on the table and maybe I'll watch some of the other Netflix Christmas movies out of curiosity. I also kind of don't like the idea of supporting Netflix like this at all. Because like, yeah, I had a fun time doing this, but at the end of the day, that commercial kind of worked on me and that kind of sucks. Like, I saw that commercial and I saw like, oh hey, we're making so many Christmas movies. Well, here's a trailer for one movie every day of the week. And then that convinced me to watch these movies, and that worked, and I hate that. I legit hate that. Yeah, did I have fun making this video? Sure, but like, God, I need to rethink my priorities if I did that. I don't like this Netflix content machine of like trying to release as much stuff as possible, and you know, regardless of what the quality is, and then overlooking stuff that is actually pretty high quality, but you know, not giving it the proper attention and then canceling it or just burying it under everything else that they're making. And like I said, that's kind of why it feels like what other people have described Hallmark to me. Just making a bunch of things that often repeat the same things to fit like a specific formula and are just kind of there to be content. And that's what these Christmas movies are being promoted like, to me. That's how I see it. And it's not looking good for the future, as it seems Netflix has bought Warner Brothers. So, you know, I worry that they're going to treat Warner Brothers as well as that sort of content, extra content that they're going to get to just dump onto their platform. That sounded a lot more depressing than what I initially wanted to. This video was fun is what I'm saying. I think when you actually dig deeper into like the context of these movies being made and like, you know, and everything going on with Netflix, yeah, it's depressing. But when you actually watch the movies, they're like perfectly dumb but enjoyable enough, at least for me. Other people probably will despise them, but maybe I've just tolerated enough garbage in my life. I enjoyed these movies, but I do think I want to get back to watching like actual good Christmas movies. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and close off the year with some final words. I would say the year has not been good. Definitely affected me in my life a lot. It's been really putting me in like a depressed state for much of the year, worried about the future for my family and like other people out there. And it's not looking great, especially if you're here in the United States of America where I am. But some good stuff has happened to me. Some personal projects that I've been working on have you know, finally been released and shown to people, and I'm excited to share more about it in the future. Good developments have happened with my family. I started my senior year of college. I finished my first semester recently, and next semester will be my last year, like my last semester of college, and then I'll be a graduate. I'll be a college graduate. That'll be exciting. And I tried new things with the channel, and some of it has worked. And that's not true. A lot of it hasn't worked, but it was fun trying it. Like the quick plays, I think I could have done better with them, but I liked making them. I don't want to get rid of the idea. I know they haven't been doing that well, and they kind of overshadowed the main videos for me. Like I didn't really get to do as many main videos that as many main big videos that I wanted to, but it's something that I'm definitely going to rethink about how I'm going to do in the next year. So I promised that videos that I had promised this year were going to come out, like the Rise of Silver Surfer video, Man of Steel, and Studio Ghibli ranking, those will come out next year. I'll try to prioritize those coming out in the first half of the year. And the quick plays, I'm not going to get rid of them just yet. I kind of want to continue trying them, and hopefully they can do better next year, because I do like the idea of the quick plays and I want to continue doing them. I really hope you're excited for next year, because next year is going to bring a lot of changes for both this channel and me, because I'm going to be focusing on graduating as of course, and getting a job afterwards. But it also means that I might have more time to like actually work on bigger videos, some stuff that I genuinely really want to do. So we'll see if that actually ends up happening. I've said things before and they don't happen. So yeah, thank you for sticking by the videos so much. I want to promote some quick stuff before I go, because like I gotta promote some stuff. My podcast that I've talked about a few times on my posts and my social media, The Woman He Thought Should Rule the World. The first 3 episodes of it are out now. It's about the creator of Wonder Woman and his influence on the series, and I really hope I can make more episodes of that. So if it's something you'd want to see more of, let me know. If you want to hear more episodes of that, let me know online. And go ahead, please listen to that podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. My short film, The Violet Vanguard and the Cinephile Crime Wave, that technically premiered last year, I finally uploaded it on my personal channel. So please watch that. I worked really hard on that, and like with my friend, I worked really hard on that with my friends, and it was such a fun project to do. And I also uploaded it on a new YouTube channel I had made, which I've talked about online as well. Via Senor Productions is where I'm going to put all my major short films and short film material onto there. So please watch that. There's some stuff already there, like trailers for other short films that I had made that will also premiere on YouTube later next year. Please check out my Patreon. I'm going to try next year to put more exclusive videos on there. So like I said, emphasis on try. Let's see if I'll actually do it, but that's my goal. I'm going to try to be more active on there. Yeah, thank you for listening to me ramble on at the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. And now, I think I'm just going to spend my Christmas watching good movies again. Maybe I'll rewatch Klaus, the best Netflix Christmas movie, genuinely. That movie's amazing. So yeah, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to go watch Klaus.